Welcome to Mindful Moments. Nourish your mind on the go. This audio uses AI narration to present our original book analysis.
Okay.
Today we're diving into David McCullough's The Wright Brothers. Get ready to unpack not just the mechanics of their invention, but also the often overlooked depths of their personalities and the challenges they faced.
What's fascinating is how McCullough sets the stage, showing how much more these brothers were than just gifted mechanics tinkering in a bike shop.
It's almost as if we have this preconceived notion of them as grease-stained tinkerers, right?
Yeah.
But their upbringing played a huge role.
Absolutely.
Their dad, Bishop Milton Wright, wasn't just a man of the cloth. He instilled this insatiable curiosity in them. The house was filled with books.
Their home in Dayton was modest, but you can practically feel the intellectual energy buzzing within its walls. McCullough paints a vivid picture of a family constantly engaged in debate and discussion. And it wasn't just theory. Their father's constant travels for church work meant they had to be resourceful, fixing things themselves.
Okay, let's unpack this. So they're learning by doing from a young age. That hands-on approach must have been crucial later on.
Absolutely. But even with all this, there's a turning point. A simple toy helicopter, gifted to them as children, ignites this lifelong fascination with flight.
Okay, that's a detail that really sticks with you. It makes you wonder if without that specific toy, history might have unfolded differently. So this fascination turns into a serious pursuit.
They weren't just dreaming of flight. They were devouring books on aeronautics, engineering, and even studying bird flight with incredible detail.
Wow.
Their approach was meticulous and research-driven, a far cry from that image of simple mechanics.
So they're setting themselves apart from the very beginning. This wasn't just trial and error. This was scientific inquiry.
And this is where their personalities really come into play. Wilbur was the deep thinker, analytical, while Orville was more hands-on, the tinkerer who could bring those ideas to life. It was a powerful partnership.
A classic dynamic. You see it time and time again with successful teams. It makes their brainstorming sessions fascinating to imagine.
Right.
One brother meticulously researching, the other building and testing.
McCullough really highlights that teamwork, but it's not just about them. They were students of flight, learning from those who came before them, especially Otto Lilienthal and his work with gliders.
Now, Lilienthal's story is a tragic one, right?
Yeah.
He died in a glider crash. And that deeply affected the Wright brothers.
It solidified their understanding that control, not just lift, was the key to successful flight. They realized that birds weren't just flapping their wings, they were constantly adjusting, warping them to maneuver. That led them to their groundbreaking wing warping system.
So they're connecting their engineering knowledge with observations of nature. And then they take it a step further, building their own wind tunnel to test their theories.
That wind tunnel was revolutionary. It allowed them to test wing designs with precision, gathering data, and refining their understanding of aerodynamics. It's a testament to their commitment to scientific rigor.
This is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
With all this research and testing under their belts, they needed a place to truly put their ideas to the test. Enter Kitty Hawk, North Carolina.
Kitty Hawk offered the perfect combination of steady winds, open space, and isolation. It was their proven ground, far from prying eyes and the pressures of public scrutiny.
And this is where, on December 17th, 1903, they make history. That first successful flight, while short, was the culmination of years of tireless effort and a testament to their unwavering belief in their vision.
Yet, here's what strikes me. Their success at Kitty Hawk was met with almost complete indifference from the world.
It's almost unbelievable, right? This landmark moment, barely a blip on the radar at the time. It really underscores how revolutionary ideas often struggle to gain initial acceptance.
But the Wright brothers weren't deterred. They knew they had achieved something truly remarkable, and they continued to refine their flyer, pushing the boundaries of what was possible.
So they leave Kitty Hawk and head back to their home base in Ohio, to a place called Huffman Prairie.
Huffman Prairie becomes their new testing ground. It's a wide open field near Dayton, allowing them the space they needed to continue experimenting and pushing their flyer to its limits.
They weren't content with just a few seconds in the air. They were driven to achieve sustained, controlled flight, and they relentlessly pursued that goal.
And it's here that their methodical approach really shines. They document every flight, meticulously recording data on altitude, distance, and control.
This is fascinating because it shows they're not just daredevils. They're scientists collecting data, analyzing results, and constantly iterating on their designs.
It's a crucial part of their story that McCullough really brings to light.
And they're doing all of this while still running their bicycle business, right? I mean, talk about dedication.
It really speaks to their incredible work ethic and their unwavering focus on their ultimate goal: achieving controlled, sustained flight.
But their journey wasn't without its share of challenges. They faced skepticism, patent disputes, and intense competition from other aspiring aviators.
And one of the most notable figures in that competition was Glenn Curtiss, a talented inventor and aviator in his own right.
The rivalry between the Wright brothers and Curtiss is a fascinating subplot in their story. It highlights the complexities and conflicts that arise when a revolutionary new technology emerges.
And these weren't just theoretical disagreements. These were legal battles, patent disputes, and public clashes over who deserved credit for advancing the field of aviation.
It's a reminder that even in the face of groundbreaking achievement, human nature often involves competition and the desire for recognition.
And it wasn't just external challenges they faced. Orville's near-fatal crash while conducting trials for the U.S. Army underscores the inherent risks they were taking.
That crash in 1908 was a stark reminder that the pursuit of flight, while exhilarating, was still in its infancy and fraught with danger.
Tragically, Lieutenant Thomas Selfridge, a passenger on that flight, lost his life, becoming the first fatality in an airplane accident.
It was a profound loss, casting a shadow over their achievements and highlighting the need for continued innovation and a relentless focus on safety improvements.
But despite these setbacks, they persevered. Their dedication to their vision, their meticulous approach to research, and their unwavering belief in themselves propelled them forward.
And their achievements did more than just usher in the age of aviation. They captured the world's imagination, inspiring a generation of dreamers and innovators who would continue to push the boundaries of what was possible.
What McCullough does so well is weave their story into the larger historical context. It's the turn of the 20th century, a time of incredible change and technological advancement.
It's like the world was on the verge of a new era.
Yeah.
And here are these two brothers from Ohio, quietly working away, about to change everything.
And think about it. While they're conducting these groundbreaking experiments, you have someone like Samuel Langley, head of the Smithsonian, also attempting to achieve flight.
Langley was a respected scientist with significant funding and resources. His approach was quite different from the Wright brothers.
Langley's great aerodrome, as he called it, was a massive, complex machine. While the Wright brothers focused on lightweight designs and meticulous testing, Langley relied on brute force and powerful engines.
His failures were highly publicized. It's almost as if the world was both fascinated and skeptical of the idea of flight.
But here's what I find interesting. Despite Langley's setbacks and the public scrutiny he faced, the Wright brothers never spoke ill of him or his efforts.
That speaks volumes about their character, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
They recognized the complexities of scientific exploration and the challenges of innovation. They weren't interested in tearing others down. They were focused on their own pursuit of flight.
It's a valuable lesson in humility and respect, especially in a world that often celebrates cutthroat competition.
But McCullough doesn't just focus on the technical aspects of their story. He delves into their personal lives, their family dynamics, and the important roles played by those around them.
Their sister Catherine, for example, was far more than just a sibling. She was a vital part of their team.
She was their confidant, their supporter, and often their voice of reason. She managed their household finances, handled correspondence, and even stepped in to help with the bicycle business when needed.
Catherine was a force to be reckoned with. She wasn't afraid to challenge her brothers, especially when she felt they were being too secretive or unfair in their dealings with others.
It's refreshing to see her role highlighted in the book. She was an integral part of their success, and her contributions deserve to be recognized.
And of course, we can't forget the influence of their father, Bishop Wright. His values shaped their character and their approach to life.
He instilled in them a strong work ethic, a sense of integrity, and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge.
But McCullough also reveals a more human side to Bishop Wright. We see his struggles, his doubts, and his unwavering faith in his children, even when they face setbacks and criticism.
It's a reminder that even the most influential figures in our lives are complex individuals with their own unique journeys.
And speaking of setbacks, their journey to achieving flight wasn't a smooth upward trajectory.
Yeah.
They faced numerous challenges, moments of doubt, and even a disastrous third trip to Kitty Hawk in 1901.
That trip left them utterly discouraged,
Yeah.
questioning their entire approach.
Mm.
But instead of giving up, they doubled down on their efforts.
And this is where their dedication to scientific research really shines through. They built a wind tunnel, meticulously tested hundreds of wing designs, and analyzed the data with a level of precision that was unheard of at the time.
It's this combination of their practical skills as mechanics and their deep understanding of scientific principles that sets them apart.
Their willingness to learn from their mistakes and their commitment to rigorous testing ultimately led them back to Kitty Hawk in 1902, this time with a new glider and a deeper understanding of the forces at play.
And those flights in 1902 were groundbreaking.
Right.
They achieved glides of over 600 feet, lasting nearly 30 seconds.
These were monumental achievements, laying the foundation for their powered flight the following year. But McCullough doesn't just tell us about the flights. He takes us into the cockpit, so to speak.
He describes the sensations, the exhilaration, the challenges of controlling these early flying machines. It's as if we're right there with them, feeling the wind in our faces, the vibration of the engine, the rush of adrenaline as the ground falls away.
And those early flights were fraught with danger.
Right.
They experienced crashes, close calls, moments of sheer terror as they battled the elements and wrestled with the limitations of their machines.
But their passion and determination never wavered. They believed in their vision, and they were willing to risk everything to make it a reality.
It's a reminder that true innovation often requires courage, resilience, and a willingness to push the boundaries of what's considered possible.
As their successes mounted, they began to attract attention, not just locally, but internationally. The world was starting to take notice of these two brothers from Ohio who had achieved what was once considered impossible.
Their story, once confined to the quiet fields of Huffman Prairie, was about to take flight on a global stage. As the Wright brothers stepped onto the global stage, they faced a new set of challenges. It wasn't just about proving flight was possible anymore. It was about navigating the world of business, patents, and international relations.
So they go from this quiet, almost secretive period of research and development to suddenly having to deal with contracts, negotiations, and the complexities of protecting their invention.
Exactly. And McCullough takes us behind the scenes, showing us how they had to become savvy businessmen, negotiating deals with governments and fending off competitors eager to capitalize on their invention.
One of the most pivotal moments in this transition was Wilbur's trip to Europe in 1908. He sets up shop in France, and his flying demonstrations captivate the world.
Imagine the scene at Le Mans. Crowds gathering to witness this spectacle, this man from Ohio effortlessly maneuvering the flyer through the air with a level of control and grace they had never seen before.
It must have been awe-inspiring. And it wasn't just about entertainment, right? These demonstrations were carefully orchestrated to showcase the potential of their invention.
They understood the importance of public perception and the need to demonstrate the practical applications of their aircraft. They were targeting governments, military leaders, and potential investors.
And it worked brilliantly. Newspapers around the world trumpeted their achievements. Kings and queens clamored to see them fly. Even the most skeptical critics had to acknowledge that the Wright brothers had ushered in a new era.
But amidst this whirlwind of success, they remained grounded, committed to their core values of hard work, integrity, and innovation.
They were fiercely protective of their intellectual property, fighting to secure patents and battling those who tried to infringe on their designs.
And that brings us back to their rivalry with Glenn Curtiss. The legal battles between them became legendary, consuming years of their time and energy.
It's a reminder that progress rarely follows a straight path. With groundbreaking innovation often comes conflict and competition, as different visions and ambitions clash.
While these legal battles raged on, Orville, back in the U.S., continued to push the boundaries of flight, conducting tests for the U.S. Army and setting new records for altitude and endurance.
His flights at Fort Myer, just outside of Washington, D.C., were major public events, drawing huge crowds eager to witness this marvel of human ingenuity.
But these flights were also a stark reminder of the inherent risks involved in this new technology. Orville's devastating crash in 1908, which tragically resulted in the death of Lieutenant Thomas Selfridge, underscored the fragility of these early flying machines.
Is a somber reminder that progress often comes at a cost, that every leap forward involves a certain degree of risk and sacrifice.
But the Wright brothers, even in the face of tragedy, never lost sight of their goals. They continued to innovate, refining their designs and working tirelessly to improve the safety and reliability of their aircraft.
And throughout this incredible journey, their sister Catherine remained a constant source of support. She traveled with them to Europe, managed their affairs, and became a beloved figure in her own right.
Their father, Bishop Wright, lived long enough to see his sons achieve their dreams, to witness firsthand how they had transformed the world with their invention.
And their hometown of Dayton, Ohio, welcomed them back as conquering heroes. The entire city erupted in celebration, recognizing the incredible achievements of these two brothers who had dared to defy gravity and change the course of history.
But even amidst these celebrations, they knew their work wasn't finished, the age of aviation was just beginning, and they were determined to play a role in shaping its future.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into David McCullough's The Wright Brothers, what are some of the key takeaways that resonated with you?
For me, it's the reminder that innovation is rarely a solo endeavor. It's about collaboration,
Absolutely.
perseverance, and the willingness to learn from both successes and failures.
And it's about believing in the power of dreams, even when the world doubts you. The Wright brothers weren't just brilliant engineers. They were dreamers who dared to imagine a world where humans could fly, and they had the courage and determination to make that dream a reality.
And their story is a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the transformative potential of innovation. And if their story has captivated you as much as it has captivated us, we highly recommend checking out David McCullough's The Wright Brothers.
You'll find a link to purchase the book in our show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to Mindful Moments for more insightful book deep dives like this one. We're passionate about exploring the lives and ideas of those who have shaped our world and inspiring our listeners to keep those minds nourished and those dreams taking flight.